Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back.
It's Monday, y'all.
Classic song.
What happened? Oh,
That's the one.
is it not the one?
No, it is.
Is it the right one?
That's the right one.
Is there a different one?
No.
Okay, song is right. We can hear it. I hope you guys can too. It is Monday, and welcome to Run It Back right here on FanDuel TV. We are all a year older than we were at this time last week, guys. How are we feeling?
You know,
I had a couple days to recover.
the day I turned 38, the next morning, which was yesterday, I was hurting. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Oh, it's gonna get worse.
It's getting
Your
there,
back's
yeah.
gonna hurt. You don't know why.
Oh,
no
man.
explanation. It's really quite fun.
I was miserable on Saturday.
Yeah, but you self-induce. Like that's
Yeah. All day long. And I can't do it like I used to.
Nope, and it'll only get
wrap.
worse from here. But we do have a lot of basketball to talk about, and we are going to start around the league with a little Philly Indy. By the way, remember that time Tyrese had 0 points in a game? Anyways, it wasn't this one. But Maxey leading his squad, a 118-114 overtime. He had 45 points. HALIBURTON in this one did have 22 points, but there's no Embiid. There's no Paul George. Maxey, of course, doing everything he can. It's their first win as a squad. Look, I can't help but feel a little bit for him because he's out there with supposed to be a couple superstars and it's just him. But where is he on the echelon of stars in the league?
Tyrese Maxey?
Yeah.
I mean, he's up there. He made a real name for himself last year. Look, this guy, he's solidified himself as a star. He's solidified himself as an all-star, and now he's got to carry the majority of the workload here with Paul George out, with Joel Embiid out. And you can tell each game he's developing more trust from that coaching staff, from his other teammates. And he's playing with a lot of vet guys. You can see he's playing with Eric Gordon, the Kyle Lowrys, the Kelly Oubres. He's playing with vet guys, and they're just giving him the ball. They're letting him rock. He's super aggressive. He's so fast in transition. And there's no such thing as a bad shot for him right now. So he has to be this aggressive early on in the season. He's got to set the tempo. 45 points, they got to continue to do this while these other guys are out. But man, he's a special talent. He took a huge jump from the previous year to last year, and it looks like he's going to take another jump. So it's sky's the limit for this kid.
But it's like at some point it is probably going to get old. The good news is, and we'll get to that, the Embiid and Paul George of it all. But is this, let's say Embiid misses a bunch of games, right? At what point do we say, you know what, maybe this is Tyrese Maxey's team?
That narrative began last year, right?
Good.
You know, when he wasn't available for some of the playoffs and he was dealing with the knee injuries, Tyrese Maxey, he had to take more of a leadership role. He had to be that dynamic scorer, had to be the #1 guy. And so now coming into this season, this is familiar territory for him. You know, these guys start the season 0-2. He got to go off of 45 points to get them their first win of the season. So if I'm Tyrese Maxey, I'm not really playing second fiddle to anyone because I'm available, I'm healthy, and I'm capable of doing this. So if I'm him, that is my mindset going into it. This is my team until somebody tells me different, especially with knowing Joel won't play back-to-backs. You know, PG has had his fair share of injuries and things that they're going to have to monitor throughout the season. So if I'm him, I'm just going into this thing guns blazing and not looking back or not worried about what anybody said.
And PG and Joel, they're getting older and they are banged up. They have injuries that they're dealing with. So Tyrese Maxey's the perfect young budding star that has their respect. And like Luda said, he's available. He's playing every single game. He's putting now. Do I want him taking 32 shots, 5 of 17 from 3? Like no. But again, you can see he's pushing. He's forcing a little bit, but he has to with what they have, with the product they have going out there now. So I think he's gained the respect from these two stars. And when they do come back, I don't think it's whose team is this, whose team is that, but I think he still needs to continue to be aggressive. But I think naturally he just won't have to take 30-plus shots.
Yes.
But I think I think he still is uber aggressive.
Yeah, I would love for him to be a lot more efficient. But Chandler, you know how these things go. When you start a season 0-2, or you're going through one of those lulls in the season where you need a win, you need your best player to just go out guns blazing. Like if we're gonna lose a third game, I'm gonna have 30 attempts up. You know, I'm not going to leave anything in the chamber. I'm not going to leave it to chance. And that's what we saw in Tyrese Maxey. I don't think this is a recipe for them to be successful long term. I think once these guys get back, he'll settle into more of an 18 to 20 shots a night. But, you know, I thought it was necessary for them trying to win a game last night.
And clearly their coaching staff is okay with it. They're going to win or they're going to lose right now with Tyrese Maxey being super, super aggressive. So it worked last night. And, again, he's going to have crazy games. He's going to have games where he's more efficient. But I don't think it's sustainable for him to be taking 30, 35 shots a game. I just don't think that's...
It will be weird, though, if there are periods of time where, like, Paul George and Embiid are both out, and he's just going to have to ramp it up for a game, and then they're back on the court the next game and back and forth. It's going to be an interesting season for Tyrese Maxey. Point guard-wise, Eastern Conference, where do you have him?
Honestly, I look at him as a two-guard. You know,
Okay, fair.
I'll put him in that catch-weight space of the Allen Iversons of the world. You know, small scoring guards. You know, I don't look at Tyrese Maxey as one of those guys that's going to set the table and make sure that Joel gets shots or Paul is going to get shots. He's going to come down, be a facilitator. No, he's putting pressure on his rim. He's putting pressure on the basket every single time down. He's trying to score that basketball. I don't really rank him in the point guard thing. Maybe technically he's a point guard, but I look at Tyrese more as a shooting guard, one of those dynamic guys that can rack up a bunch of assists, but naturally he's going to go out there on the floor, score the basketball, create tempo. I don't think he's the guy that creates shots for everybody else.
Yeah, he's more of a scoring guard. He's more of a two guard. Like when I think of point guard, I think of a Tyrese Haliburton. I think of an actual setup guy. But when you look at if he's a point guard, he's top 5 in the Eastern Conference, no doubt. You look at Haliburton, Brunson, Drew Holiday, Dame Lillard, Tyrese Maxey is right there in that upper category of those point guards. So he solidified himself. He has respect. He's respected his locker room. He's a great kid. He works hard. You saw what you would think he was a Hall of Fame multiple year All-Star. What Philly did with him this summer with the whole.
Oh yeah.
It was insane. So
He's
they
loved.
clearly, he is beloved in the city of this franchise. So he's doing something right.
Well, the rumor on the street is that we might get to see Paul George and Embiid Wednesday when they play the Pistons. And why are you laughing?
It's a great. I know why he's laughing.
Is that a good intro?
It's a great team to come back.
I know, but both of them. It
I
seems
ain't gonna have
it seems
Detroit mad at me. It was just interesting. That's the matchup.
You just laughed in their face.
You really did. We should talk about that more. No, but it is. You're right. They're both coming back against a Detroit team that. Look, we've talked so much about predictions, Eastern Conference, where everybody sees everyone. This team, for whatever reason, I guess on paper they look amazing. Where do you still feel that way, given sort of the injuries, and now we know Embiid's plan? Like,
I mean, listen, this team is a completely different team without 2 superstars. Take off the best 2 of the top 3 players on any team, they are going to struggle. They are not going to be nearly as good as they are fully loaded. So, again, the Eastern Conference, some teams have got off to a hot start, some teams have gotten off to a slower start. You look at Indy, you look at Milwaukee, they struggled earlier. Does that mean that they are not going to be good come postseason? No. Every team is going to take a little bit of time. Every team is going to develop differently. But, yeah, I'd like to think still that Philly is a contender with Joel Embiid, with Paul George, when these guys get back and they start getting reps. Now, how many games are they going to play? Are they going to come back on a load management? That's why I love them coming back against the Pistons. You can play them, 15 to 20 minutes. Work them in. Let Tyrese Maxey continue to do what he does. That was crazy. But, yeah, I think this is, obviously, it's going to take time. And I'm interested more to see how they fit with Tyrese Maxey now, but instead of the other way around. So it'll be interesting.
right?
I think they'll still be right there, because once you add those 2 guys in, that gives them more of a balance, right? Because I'm looking at their box score. Eric Gordon is going to be the guy that's going to score this basketball off the bench for them. So when you put Paul George and you put Embiid back in that lineup, maybe Caleb Martin goes to the bench. Maybe a Kelly Oubre goes to the bench, or they stay with that big lineup with those 2 guys, or Kyle Lowry goes to the bench. Now he's facilitating. Kyle is going to go in there for 7-8 minutes. He's one of those guys, defensively and offensively. He's going to make sure they don't have any lapses on both ends of the floor. So that creates a dynamic for them where they have that balance and having 2 solid groups that's going to get them through 48 minutes of basketball.
We did mention Tyrese Haliburton. He did have his 22 points, but his average right now is 7.5 points, 4.5 assists. That's just through the 3 games, and of course he did have the 0 points against the Knicks. Any concern with Tyrese Haliburton starting off so slowly?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I want to see my
Zero's
best player
weird.
that was just on the Olympic gold medal team. I would like him to come out with it. Also, he didn't play much.
Well, he was
this summer,
on the
too.
team,
That's
but
what I mean. So, I would have
yeah.
liked to see the opposite. I'd like to him come out with the Tyrese Maxey type of aggressiveness, and this is my team. But am I worried about him? No. Am I concerned about him that he needs to do more for sure, and their team isn't winning games? Yes. I think this is he had a chance right there. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw the end of this game. Caleb Martin, they were down 2. You thought they were down 3. He fouled Tyrese Haliburton, thinking they were up 3. Tyrese Haliburton had chances to make 2 free throws. He missed a free throw. Again, is that the end of the world? No. But this is the best player on your team. This is a guy who made a huge jump from last year. But when I look at Tyrese Haliburton, it's not points doesn't do it for me for him. Is he taking care of the ball? Is he controlling the game? Is he getting guys in their spots, getting other guys involved? He can go off on any given night, but to me,
0 is weird.
0 is weird. 0
is
is weird. But to me, is he taking care of the ball? Is he giving these other guys shots? Is he getting Siakam in his spots? Is he getting Miles Turner open looks? So to me, he's more of a setup guy than a scorer.
Where's your frustration, though? We're talking about Jason Tatum and how he took the Olympics personally and he didn't play. They didn't find any minutes for Tyrese Haliburton in the Olympics. So his attitude, it felt like he was happy to be there, and that's great. You know, I've never had the opportunity to be an Olympian, and he has. And sometimes that can kind of suck you into this space of saying, you know, I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be considered one of the top guys. But if I'm going back to Indiana, I want to prove my worth, especially with being tagged as an all-star caliber guard. You know, so being off to the slow start, you don't ring the bell, but at some point, you gotta knock the rust off, bro, and you gotta put some real attention back on the Indiana Pacers. You know, they were one of our favorites last year to be one of the contenders in the East, and now it just kind of looks like they're settling back into just being okay. And this is going to start with TYRESE. So hopefully, you know, he snaps out of whatever's going on and he goes on this tear that we are used to him going on, and there'll be a more competitive team in the Eastern Conference. But this slow start is it's alarming to me. I'll be truthful.
You said it, though. For him on the Olympic team, it was almost like, I'm just happy to be there. He was positive on the bench. He was
He's like a cheerleader.
Yeah, he was just there. Jason Tatum was pissed off, visibly frustrated. Like, I just won an NBA championship. I'm multiple-year All-Star. Tyrese Haliburton is kind of a new household name. So I think with the Olympic thing this summer,
that's when you're the most hungry.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think he's I don't think he's that pissed off that he didn't play over like Steph Curry in the Olympics. I mean, I don't think he's coming in this season. There was a chip on his shoulder, like he got played like Jason Tatum did.
Where's the only thing I'm saying is where's the hunger for more, right? Like at some point,
like I'd like
him to see out come out a little more aggressive.
Yeah, where's the hunger for more?
It doesn't seem like that's his demeanor. Like even just his videos and stuff he does on social, like he doesn't seem like that guy. He's like a nice kind of nerdy guy.
But it's dangerous though, Michelle, because sometimes when you get to a certain level of praise, you can get full off of it. You can get content with just being in the conversation. No, I want you to dominate the conversation. I want you to be at top, and I want you to earn the respect of everybody. Like this year should be, we were right. Tyrese Haliburton is one of those guys, and it's 3 games in. It's 3 games in. Only thing I'm saying publicly is I want to see him be more assertive, more aggressive. Like, we're off to a slow start. Cool, it's not the end of the world. But right now, I want to see a smile. This is a time where teams figure out whether we're really good, we're really bad, or we're a middle-of-the-road team. Right now, with this slow start at 1-2, we have a higher expectation. You guys should be 2-1. You should be 3-0. You should be in that conversation. And with your head guy, I want to see him be more aggressive and a little bit more pissed off at the early start, because this thing can snowball in the wrong direction. Again, he played a 76ers team without 2 of their superstars. You're not going to get the luxury of that when you're running into the Knicks of the world, the Milwaukee Bucks of the world, and before you know it, you're fighting at a 7 or 8 spot when you should be one of the top teams, and that starts with Tyrese.
And which is crazy because going into last season, before this play-in tournament, like I had low expectations for the Indiana Pacers. I never even considered Tyrese Haliburton, the whole All-Star thing with him and Wally Szczerbiak. Like this is kind of like this is a new thing for him to be thrown in this stardom type role. He gets his own signature shoe. He's
shouting out.
Like he is a star now. So with that, I think comes expectations. So I think when you do that, when you have a tear like he did last season, when you make the Olympic team over a certain guy, over Kyrie Irving, over Jalen Brunson, with that, there definitely comes some expectations and pressure. And you would think someone coming off that kind of year, these numbers would be better. But again, it's early.
Those are cleanup numbers.
Yeah, they're not great. No. They're definitely not great, especially the assist. Honestly, I don't even mind the points. Average 12 points, but average 12 assists as well. You know what I mean? That's his game. He's not a 12-4 guy. These are going to continue to go up. These are going to get better. They're going to win a lot of games, just the way they play, their offense, Rick Carlisle, the way they shoot the 3, the way he plays pick and roll. It's going to get better. Again, it's 3 games, but I would have just liked a better start.
It's going to have to get mean. It's going to have to get a little bit mean.
Just a tad.
Just a skosh. Slow starts to better starts. Hawks and Thunder. Oklahoma City. 3-0. They beat the Hawks 128-104. SGA 35-11-9. He had 3 steals and 3 blocks on top of that. Chet had his 25. Trae Young threw in 28 points and 8 assists. But SGA, it wasn't just offense. The defense was also very, very much in effect. We already know he's an MVP caliber player, but as far as a 2-way player he's just adding on, Chandler, just adding on.
They're so good. They're so fun to watch. And when you have a star like SGA, it reminds me of what Anthony Edwards does in Minnesota. When he sets the tone offensively and defensively, and when you have your best player doing the things that he does on both sides of the ball, it just completely sets the table. And there's no job too small for these guys. They seem like they have so much fun together. This seems like a really, really good AAU team where they all get along. Wow. They're all the same age. They don't care whose night it is. A different night, someone else can go off. But everyone knows their role, and everyone knows SGA is their best player. Yes, they do have budding stars in Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren, who are also having awesome starts. They're so deep. And again, for such a young team, they are mature. Like they move the ball. They are unselfish. They defend. They do all the little things that add up to winning. So, Coach, I remember how to say his name. Daigneault. Like he's done such a great job, just like getting these guys in position and following the game plan. Like they play for way beyond their years. So. It's unbelievable, but it starts with this guy. When you see him doing all the things on the defensive end too, it sets the tone for everybody.
I was gonna say, like, as far as we talk about leadership, who has it, who doesn't, what kind of leader they are, all that good stuff. But the fact that he's out there giving 110%, I don't know that there's a better way to be a leader than what SGA is doing.
There's a few things at play. Their team has an identity. They know how they need to play to be successful on both ends of the floor. And they got guys that have bought into that. And give SGA and Mark some credit being the leaders of that team. They've built somewhat of a culture, right? Like you watch those guys, they do the interviews after the game together. It's no individualism. You know, obviously you're gonna say, you know, Jalen Williams can be this and Chad can do that and SJ and this and that. But collectively they have bought into being the best team that they can be. And I think that starts with SGA, how he carries himself. They've been able to catch lightning in a bottle and build culture and they have a clear identity with such a young basketball team.
I think Jay Williams is out, or that's a different Jay Williams, but they just throw in a guy, AJ Mitchell, last night to play 14 minutes. It's just like, it is crazy that they just continue to develop and produce and they have so many guys on this roster that can just plug and play at any moment of the game. You watch them too, their closing lineup, you know it's going to be SGA, Jalen Williams, Chet, but then those other two spots, it's someone different all the time. It's an Isaiah Joe. It is the depth that they have. When you have a team that's so good and so talented offensively, then you have a guy like Chet that's somehow controlling the paint with his frame, blocking shots, just beating shit up, and then they can go 10, 11, 12 deep. They have it all, and we knew they were going to be a top team, but man, they are rolling.
Well, how do you not buy in? If you're like the 9th or 10th guy and everybody else is doing what they're doing, you kind of have to come in and be great as well, because that's what the whole scene is. Last week we asked about the idea that Chet and Jalen Williams could both possibly make an all-star team, or a leap at least, and it looks like they might. Is there a better trio right now, Lou, in the league than these three?
Not youth-wise. Not youth-wise. These guys got it made, and like I said, all of this is based on them just building culture and creating something that they all can be proud of, you know. So you give these guys credit, but I look around the league, I don't see three guys that are younger that are what, 6, maybe, what is this, year 5 or 6 for SGA? I don't see another group of guys that's this young that's playing this well. So I'll give them the credit.
They're all three going to be all-stars because they're going to win so many games. They're you know what I mean?
Crazy.
There's no such thing as load management with this team because they're all so young. They're going to continue to play. They're so deep. All three of these guys are going to make the All-Star game.
Only thing that's going to stop all three of them making the All-Star game is just the number of superstars that are in the Western Conference. You know, you're going to look at LeBron James and AD are going to be All-Stars, right?
Fine.
Like Kevin Durant is going to be an All-Star. So these are guys that are grandfathered in just by being themselves. They're going to be in the All-Star game, right? So I think it'll come down to a numbers game. I think maybe they get 2 guys in now. If they finish at that break at number 1.
That's right. I mean, I think their record's going to be landslides so much better than everyone that they have to reward winning and they have to give them 3.
That's where they get 3.
That's going to be amazing if that's.
I think they're 10 games up at All-Star break. They got to get 3.
Wemby, Luka, Kyrie, LeBron, KD. These are Steph Curry. I'm not even thinking. So I think that's just where it gets tricky for them. That's going to be the only thing that's going to stop them from having 3 bona fide.
Doesn't All-Star voting start like next week?
Probably. Yeah, everything starts next week. Christmas starts next week.
It's ridiculous.
Like it's all happening. Atlanta did keep this one close, very much so. And I know you guys sort of have talked about the maturity of one TRAE Young. Big reason for them keeping Young. Do you think maybe he is now finally established, like stable, where he wants to be, everything's in place?
Yeah, I just hope he's at peace, you know, with so many rumblings of trade or moving on and, you know, separating ways with TRAE. I think he's at peace with knowing he's there. DeJounte Murray, they've moved on. So now he's the lone superstar of that basketball team. You know, he knows this is time for him to be that absolute leader, be that bona fide star that the city of Atlanta as well as the Hawks, they need. And I think he's been doing a great job of that. Shout out to my brother. He's growing the beard out. He's more over his grown man vibes. You know, he's a new father. He's turning a new leaf in his life, and it's showing on the basketball court. It looked like he's playing with that joy again. He's trying to lead these guys by example, and he's going out there playing hard as he can. You know, they're off to a good start for the city, and so I just want to see that maturation keep going. I don't want adversity to put him in a position where we kind of resort back to some of our older ways. I love the fact that he's moving forward. I love the fact that he's trying to be positive. He's trying to take more of that leadership role. That's the only thing that these guys have ever asked for Trae Young, and it's working for these guys. So salute to him.
It's never been about talent. It's never been about stats. It's 3 games. Listen, it is early, but the dude is averaging 31, 10, and 5, and his numbers are pretty efficient as well. So I think always the question with Trae Young has been, can he then take the next step and lead? Can his stats and his own individual success translate to wins? Like when they beat the Knicks in the playoffs a couple years ago, like we praised them. Everybody praised him. That was a big step for him. And they almost took a step back. They made, you know what I mean? So I think this year is a huge year where there's not a lot of expectations for this team, and he can shock the world. Everyone's talking about all these great point guards in the NBA. No one mentions Trae Young. This year, now you keep doing what he's doing now, we're going to start hearing his name in those top 5, top 10, guards in the NBA, all-star. So I'm happy for him. I loved playing with him in Atlanta. I spent 3-4 months with him. He was great, and I do see that. I see him. Maybe it's just the beard, but I feel like he has matured. And I just want to see that translate to wins, because it's never been about talent with him. He's always been fun to watch. Always can shoot the ball. He always crazy dimes. Like it's always had crazy level of talent. I just want to see him lead now and him take that next step. Maybe
we're looking at it. Maybe it's happening. Clippers-Warriors, another game to talk about. You guys were mentioning James Harden behind the scenes here. He had 23, 11, and 7. Zubats with 23 and 17 rebounds. Curry had 18, but he also left the game in the third quarter with an ankle. Clippers win, and it's been a lot of Harden without Kawhi out there, and he has looked pretty good at 35 years old, Chandler.
Yeah,
what's going on?
He's been, first of all, he looks great. He looks like he's in shape. He looks like he's lean. You could tell he's said that a lot of times in his off season, but he looks poised. He looks like he knew he was coming into this season with a Kawhi Leonard that was possibly going to be out, and he's dominating. His usage rate is up. He's taking care of the ball. He's picking his spots. He's being aggressive. And as good as he's been, the game the other night against the Denver Nuggets, Norman Powell was unbelievable. He went absolutely berserk in the fourth quarter. Zubac has been dominant, so it's good to see them finding things from other places with Kawhi Leonard out. And James Harden, we've always known he's so aggressive. He can attack downhill. He's an unbelievable pick and roll player. He looks comfortable. He looks healthy. He looks great, and I'm happy for him. He's another one of those guys that we kind of wrote off the last couple of years with, and now he seems to. No one thought the Clippers would start off like this and win these games and go to Denver and win against Golden State. So again, I feel like the theme here is it's early. Like, don't freak out either way. Good start, bad start, but if you're the Clippers and you're 2-1 without Kawhi Leonard and James Harden and Norman Powell and Zubac playing the way they're playing, you got to be stoked.
But how fast we forget? Like, when has James Harden's success ever be hedged on somebody else being on the court?
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, he's thriving without. He's always has. I think this is where he's most comfortable. You know,
he almost prefers it like this.
Yeah, we're talking about a former MVP of the league. So is he still the system?
He's dunking still.
Like he has nobody to defer to. I think this is when he plays his best basketball, when he's the for sure go-to guy, when he's gonna have that ball in his hands. He's a ball dominant guard. He needs that ball to be successful. And so you give him the ball, he's gonna win you a lot of basketball games just by being James Harden.
And I don't care what part of the season it is, if you go to Denver and to Golden State and you win both of those games, that is a hell of a road trip.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to Clippers, because this is a great start. It's exactly what they needed.
Shout out.
Shout out to Clippers.
Mentioned that Steph Curry left the game. The ankle was tweaked. Look, it's early in the year, Lou. I get all that. Sometimes people say, go get it over with now. But
yeah,
how big a deal is this?
I wouldn't read much into it. When you take Steph Curry off of the basketball court for any team, you're gonna have an adjustment period, and it's gonna be a hit. So I wouldn't read too much into this. I know he's had his ankle issues over the years, but he's also done a great job of battling back and being on top of that. So nothing too alarming for me here.
And yeah, again, I don't think it's anything major. It's not serious, but this is a team that's very dependent on Steph Curry. This is a team that needs Steph Curry, just as the Lakers need Anthony Davis, LeBron. This is their guy. So obviously, for them to have any chance to contend, they need a healthy Steph Curry. But this doesn't seem to be a major issue.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Guys, we gotta take a quick break. Apparently, the YouTube chat is on fire. Apparently? Yeah, we're talking Lakers. It's coming up soon. Give us a second.
The 3-0.
Good Lord, we'll be
Lakers.
back. Lakers talk. Including these men that we were about to show you. Oh, I like this. This is two. Oh, what?
The old chase down.
I don't know about that. That's fun. That's two people I enjoy watching play basketball. So you know what? It's a win-win.
Love to see it, bro.
Old man, young man.
Love to see it. Represent for the old head.
But how old is Russell Westbrook?
37.
How does he get out of bed?
In an NBA years, that is.
Yeah.
Trust, I know.
Yeah, it looks great.
No, this is such a good moment too.
By the way,
And
did they
again-
used to do these chase down blocks back in the day? Because I feel like that's just like a newer
Oh, no.
thing.
It's not a new thing, Chandler.
I know, right? But we never talked about
It's
it.
not a new thing.
LeBron literally invented it.
Wait, does Chet do two things? Wow.
Oh.
That's a double Chet moment.
Oh, he blocks the
He does that, rude.
MVP.
Come on, Joker. Y'all
And
gotta
then
get
does
it done.
that.
Back on D. They
Double
look
rude.
old, man.
Gotta-
They don't. They
You
look.
got a piece of the ball.
And that's
too.
not a good video for them.
No.
No,
This
not-
is just
not
like the
Denver
young
Tyler.
up and coming team against the older team that's kind of.
Changing of the guard.
Kinda
Look
what
at him. He's
it feels like we're watching that
Your
in one
best
video.
player can't complain to the ref while
gave
his
up.
man goes and gets.
Yeah, he got his man dunked on.
Okay, there you go.
my
There you
gosh,
go.
Luka.
Luka
Oh,
being
I didn't
Luka.
even see that guy over there in the corner there.
Oh, wait a minute. That's against the Spurs. This
Also,
is a
How we
stupid
feel
video.
about the new haircut?
It's all she's got the fade. He finally went to a barbershop.
with the supercuts.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Is it mullety?
Great clip.
Is it borderline mullety?
Gave him a lollipop at the end. And this is an insane pass.
little mullety.
Right through the defensive player of the year. We're already giving it to him.
I know an $8 haircut when I see it.
Have the Spurs won a game yet, Michelle?
As what?
Have the Spurs won a game?
Yes, they have. I have one. You know what? Shut up. That's not the point. They're learning. Dallas was in the finals. What do you want from them? A first Zion sighting for us here.
The game. Oh,
Did he grab that?
here for the game, by the way, as
my
game
God.
expired.
That's
The
wild.
That
game
is
winning.
fun. It's so red in that.
Yup. Hey, listen, New Orleans is gonna be in the mix this year too now.
Think so? Wait, what about DeJounte?
The mix for Cooper Flag or the mix for the playoffs?
DeJounte Murray's out now.
Nah, Cooper Flag look like he's gonna play for the Utah Jazz.
That ain't great.
I don't know. It's Monday.
Oh, this.
Was that a white reference? Oh, let's watch this. With me!
Is that what you got out of that?
Give me more!
It's
Yes.
honestly what I was going for, the whole
That's-
Utah thing.
Look how tall he is.
No,
It's
because
so weird.
they're awful this year. Let's call a spade a spade.
How does he dunk this? How does he go? Look, Kevin McHale
doesn't
up
even
and under
move.
here. I think it's.
Hey, step through. Ain't dunking.
He's so fun.
I wish.
Look at this.
He's so
Look at this
fun.
little step back. You shouldn't do that at that size.
He really shouldn't be able to do
You shouldn't do that.
80% of the stuff he's been doing, and here we are. It's fun, isn't it?
It is so much fun.
It's so much
He's
fun.
unbelievable.
Sabonis.
Lodi.
Oh,
That was
a
an air
minute.
ball.
what is that? Yeah, is he that good? Like, that was a pass.
not.
That was an air ball.
I think he was a little short. That's a better read by Gordon to know that.
Oh, look.
If this is a pass, this guy.
That's so
I
cute.
think it might have been a pass.
That's a shot. He's following this. He's following it. Look.
Yeah, now we're giving him too much credit.
Are you sure? No, that was a shot.
He was following it.
Cunningham.
Cade.
Oh,
Anytime you dunk with the left, it just looks better.
that just doesn't make sense
It
if you're
doesn't.
a lefty.
I don't know. For some
Keep
reason,
rolling,
he's not a
Cade.
lefty.
I know, but people wouldn't know that necessarily, so it looks just like a dunk.
No, that's
Yeah,
a.
You'd have to know what
Every
they
hooper
are.
in the world know
Yeah,
how impressive this is.
You know, yeah, lefty, right foot, left.
But what if
hand
you're a
is tough.
left-handed dunker?
It still looks good.
Then it'll be a right hand dunk. We'd
So
be
it's like
impressed
playing
with
the-
Yeah, like if Tayshaun Prince went down the lane, left foot, right hand, I think it would be cooler because you know he's left-handed. It's hard to do.
It's like golfing left. It looks weird.
Yeah.
Giannis.
All right, Giannis.
Vooch. Vooch.
He's trying to
Come
take
on,
a
man.
charge.
Get outside the dots, brother. You know better than this.
Or get out of the way.
Just get out of the
Get
way.
out of
That's what I would do.
Yeah. Like
and
Donovan
a
will have
bug.
his ass if he got out of the way, though.
Quick break. When we come back, yep, that statue. We got to talk about it. Dear God. Your kids, because a nightmare is about to be shown on this here screen. Ah, the statue that doesn't look anything like the man was unveiled in Miami. That is D. Wade. That's him there walking. I don't know who the other guy is. Guys, what are we doing?
I just don't know where we went wrong as like society of how we can be so good at certain things, how cutting edge at certain things, and then how atrocious at statue making.
So can I, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just a dummy. Can I not 3D print something exact replica of something
or
else?
you can listen.
Why not that?
I'm curious, like, we got to get in the portal and find us some new statue makers. You know, we're having a bad year.
Like a wormhole where we go back in time to the 1500s?
We got to find us. We just got to find a guy. Who's the guy? Who's the go-to guy? Because right
And
now,
is it the same guy that makes all this bullshit?
No, I don't.
No, and that's what's terrifying.
Yeah, I think this is statewide. I think we're finding local guys and.
Can I just suggest something? Maybe
Why you so
the statues
chubby?
are dead and we just do portraits.
I just think this is such a cool moment for players and icons, and like even and you know they don't let you see it before.
Which is not a cool surprise.
I think if I'm getting a statue somewhere, I want final approval. I need to see it. I remember like when Dirk saw it, like AI, the whole minute, the Heisman they gave him. I want to see it. I remember when I was in Houston, they gave me a bobblehead and they showed it to me before, like a couple takes before, and I was like, no, this doesn't look like me.
What the hell's going on
we'll
here?
We'll be right back.
Are we drunk?
It doesn't look. I got final approval on a bobblehead. How could they not get final approval on a statue?
That's what
on the coolest moment.
Dude,
this is my house.
I have friends that won't even let me post unless they have final approval on that picture.
You taking a face too?
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing?
I just want to know the process. Like,
how many
do you
people?
just send in a picture and just say, we'll see you guys at the unveiling? Like,
what picture?
Who's clearing these things?
By the way, this made us go down the rabbit hole.
The Lucille Ball, the Tupac, they are so.
Look up Tupac in Dallas.
When you get a chance, look up the Tupac statue of Lucille Ball. It is shot.
Like, look at that. That's
Look,
not even.
So yeah, who's this guy that threw this pass to LeBron James?
It's like a Halloween character.
It's like Thanos.
It's scary. It's
Wow.
Antoine Walker.
Antoine Walker?
Is that Antoine Walker?
It might be
It's a
Antoine
conspiracy
Walker.
theory. They
What
used
if
the
Antoine? What if somebody screwed with the sculptors? Because you know the sculptors aren't necessarily basketball fans.
What if somebody swapped the pictures out? What if somebody sent in a picture and told a guy, hey, we need a bust of Dwyane Wade, and he looked up a picture of Antoine Walker?
Tony Allen.
it's pretty bad. Like, and I know.
I bet he gets another one.
They have to
Put me down for $1 on that. He's
How much
getting
do
another
these
one.
cost to make?
I don't think
like
they're
what
cheap.
goes in? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if you're the Heat, you're like, no, we're not doing it again.
But if you're the Heat, didn't you have final approval? There's no way you saw that, or maybe it came down to like the day before, and they're like, we can't cancel
That's
everything.
what I mean. Like, you think they saw this final product and like,
Yeah,
this
they
is
can't.
dope.
I'm
Like,
mind blown. I think it's Antoine Walker. I literally think they used the picture of Antoine Walker. That's spot on.
this is
Antoine Walker,
the worst
dude.
one since Ronaldo, probably.
I was old enough to remember that.
But congratulations to D Wade.
Oh yes, yeah, that's right. Congratulations on the statue that we will mock until they replace it with
But also,
something
these guys,
I feel bad.
we're making an
making fun of it 'cause
attractive
we
guy.
want them to
Ronaldo's
have
an
it.
attractive guy. These statues are hideous.
I'm telling you, portraits. Only portraits.
They're hideous.
All
They're
right.
scary.
We waited till now. The Lakers, yes.
No,
they're up.
back to the statue.
Start 3-0.
How
So
many minutes was
yellow.
it?
3-0. They've got wins over, honestly, shut up. 3 real teams. Minnesota, Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Hello,
Okay.
Sacramento.
It's Monday.
It was close to being a bad word. All right, look, Lakers fans, rightfully so, are having a moment. The Dodgers are crushing. Everything's looking up Los Angeles, but how seriously are we taking a 3-0 start?
Listen, I think it's a great start to say that they've beaten Minnesota, Phoenix, and Sacramento. It's Phoenix. Listen, no one thought I didn't think they're going to start off 3-0, but I think it's different. When you get a new coach, and I got to give JJ Redick credit, their offense just looks different, looks more fluid. And again, when you have a big splash of a free agent, it takes some time to adjust and develop the chemistry. The Lakers didn't really do that. They stayed put. They have the continuity. You can see guys like Rui, D'Lo, Austin Reeves, they are comfortable. And even though it's a new system and a new coach, LeBron James looks unbelievable. The things he's doing at his age are beyond me. Anthony Davis now is looking healthy and aggressive, and they're clearly playing through him, and he's kind of back to that versatile pick and pop, aggressive guy, getting the free throw line. So it seems that Dalton Connect's been great for them off the bench, Gabe Vincent, Jackson Hayes. So they found their rotation. Their offense looks really good. They're defending. So JJ, you got to give him credit. I think coming from the booth to as a coach, he has done a very, very good job. But it's not like they've played bad teams. Kings, Suns, Minnesota. That is a hell of a start to a season.
Give him his credit. They're playing really good basketball, and LeBron's been alluding to this the last couple seasons. He's been saying this is Anthony Davis' team. Anthony Davis is playing like it's his team. I think that's where the success is coming from. He's aggressive. He's been assertive. He's the anchor on defense. He's one of those guys that just – he's an all-world talent when he's healthy and when he's asserting himself on both ends of the court. And that's what's been happening. That's what's been showing. I think he and J.J. Redick putting them in a position to be successful. Like Chandler just mentioned, man, that offense looks good. They're rolling. It's new. It's innovative. He's giving them some different looks, and he has the personnel to do it. He has the guys on the floor that's willing to try things. And you got one of the best leaders on the floor in LeBron James that can anchor these things for you. So, you know, shout out to the Lakers. They're looking good right now. And
you can just tell he looks, the coaches, the vets he's put around him, he doesn't look like a first-year coach. When teams go on a run, I'll watch a game, it'll be beyond me. I'm like, call a timeout, call a timeout. You don't have to do that with him. He calls the timeout. At a timeout on offensive executions, they need a quick hitter, they need a three. They're delivering. They're getting it. His substitution patterns have been good and fluid. So all these things that I feel like he'd make mistakes as his first year of a head coach, he's been unbelievable. Credit now, he has some very great, like, Hall of Fame legend coaches on the bench with him, which I think also is brilliant.
Yeah.
But again, he looks poised. He looks great. Their offense looks great, and it's a product. They're 3-0.
I mean, his basketball knowledge was never called into question. It was a matter of executing it from a coach's perspective, which both of you are
But again, it's hard to do.
clearly.
You see, Steve Nash is a great player, a way better player than J.J. Redick was. It didn't correlate to coaching. So I mean,
No, it's the communication of it.
Tony Romo was a great calling games. Could he just go and be a coach?
I don't think star players are good coaches anyway.
Yeah, it's almost better. I think you're a better coach if you're a role player.
Yeah, I don't think so. But again, it's either one of the two things when you're a former player and you're trying to coach, especially as young as J.J. Redick. Either guys are completely going to buy in or they're not going to buy in at all. And it's a credit to him. And I think what's helped him is the relationship that he had with LeBron.
Yeah.
You know, them doing the podcast, them talking about and going over basketball so much over wine. This has translated into like, hey, I believe in you. And now when I'm going into the gym, these younger guys and the rest of this team, they're following my lead as well.
Absolutely.
I think that's one of the major things that J.J. Redick has had on his side and it's shown.
No, we have seen it. If LeBron is out on a coach, then usually the writing's on the wall. The fact that he was bought in before they even brought him in, I think, speaks volumes. The AD of it all, obviously, is one of the best versions of AD we've seen as a Laker. Right now, though, plus 2,000 for an MVP title. Anybody buying that? Is there a shot? Should we put $1 on it?
Again, it's early. They're 3-0. Are they going to be a top 4, top 5 team in the West to put himself in that category of MVP talks? We have to wait and see. But right now, he looks dominant. Like, he could easily be Player of the Week. I think he should be. I don't even know if that's come out yet.
We went from MVP.
He's been dominant on both sides of the ball. He looks healthy. He looks strong. So again, this is a great start for him. We have to see it throughout the season. We have to hope he can be consistent. But they've showed that they're a versatile team. They have a good bench, and things are just working for them right now.
The only thing that's going to keep AD out of that conversation is being available.
Okay.
That's it. If he's going to play at this clip, he's back in that conversation of being one of the top 5 players in the National Basketball Association. He's always been there. The only thing that stopped him is his availability, him always having injuries, and sometimes with the injuries that he deals with when he's on the court, it kind of seemed like he's coasting through games because I think he's trying to get through everything in one piece. Now he doesn't have that worry. He's going out there, he's playing hard, he's playing physical, playing aggressive. Why not have him in the conversation? You know, they're off to just as good a start as any of these other guys that we've predicted to be in the MVP conversation. Why not?
Well, knock on wood, he played in 76 games last season, right now leading the league in scoring. I know it's only 3 games, but we got to talk about that sometimes. The LeBron of it all, yes, it's season 22. He's averaging 23, 8, and 7. Like, what are the supplements?
Incredible.
Like, how are the... That's all I want to know. Supplements. What's he taking?
Polypeptides.
Some collagen.
Yeah, some creatine. It's insane. Again, it's just mesmerizing. We talk about it year after year. When is the decline going to happen? How long can he sustain this? The guy literally said the other day he wants to play every game. I think that would be one of the more impressive things of his entire career if he plays 82 games this year. But when you watch him, and this game in particular, he caught fire. He was making crazy shots. And you know what he did? There was a time there where he was on a crazy run, and Rui took like a pull-up, and he should have made the extra swing. And LeBron literally got on his ass at the timeout, even though they were winning. He was happy. He said, "Rui, like, what are we doing? Like have a feel of what's going on in the game." And again, it's the fact that he's still leading and caring, and putting up these kind of numbers and being so efficient at this age. It's unbelievable.
You know, I think the more that his career is going on, he's become a better shooter. I think that's something that he's added to his game. In year 22. all the reps that you put in, at this point, your jump shot is locked in. Like, you're probably not going to miss a lot of shots when you're at the house or you're in the gym and you're just shooting around. You're locked in. And so I think that's what's carried LeBron in these last 2 or 3 seasons. His jump shooting, his three-point percentages, all of those things are up. He's added that to his game, especially with somebody who's always been able to get to the rim as easily as LeBron James. Now you're spacing the floor out, and he's somebody you can trust to shoot that game winner. You know, when you're down 3 or you're down 2 and you're trying to get a dub, LeBron James is going to be that guy for you. So I think that's something that he's added in his age.
I want to do a little over/under 2.5 more seasons.
LeBron, over.
Over.
Gotta take over.
How can you take under right now?
I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
You cannot. You can't. Again, if I would see a serious injury or a huge dip in just the way what my eyes are seeing, I don't even care if it's statistically. He looks great. He's healthy. He's strong. Again, they're winning games. He's impacting winning. He tried to take a charge the other night. Like, it's just ridiculous what he's doing. So I would take the over, and I would take it for a lot of money.
So right now we're at 23 points a game. You're going to have that 17-point season. And then you're going to have that dip in a 9 to 10-point season. That puts him at 3 seasons. I'm taking it over because he hadn't had that dip yet.
All right, fair enough.
I can't even picture those years. I can't even imagine the year he averages like 8. I can't.
Do you think he sticks around for that, or no?
Year
That's what I mean.
26.
God, never ending. Jason Tatum happens to be on his own little personal revenge tour. I love that for him.
It's going well.
First 3 games, he's averaging 33, 6, and 6. Top 5 player in the league, currently 2nd in the MVP, ranking, standings, gambling, whatever you want to call it. The revenge tour cracks me up because it's really just because of one thing and one thing only. But here we are. He's doing it.
Yeah, and again, as we're talking MVP talks, it's a bold but not too bold. It's going to be him or SGA because I think they're such a dominant team in the East where they're going to win. They're going to have the best record by far in the Eastern Conference. And then when you look at the West, SGA and the Thunder, they're going to have the best record. So I think the MVP is going to come down to these two. And I think he's just kind of early. Again, it's early, but he's answered all questions. You could tell he's frustrated with everything that happened last year after even winning a championship. Can you imagine winning a championship and a gold medal and still being frustrated somehow? But if anybody could do it, it was the way he was talked about. It was the media, the scrutiny he got. The team trying to pick him. Who's the best player? Who cares? They're the NBA championship. You know what? They have 2 really good players. They have 3. Derek White's averaging 20 points. We're not even talking about him this year. So again, I think he's answering all questions. It's always been Jason Tatum's team up until last year when this whole narrative came about. Jaylen Brown, who by the way is also a very special player, but to me it's always been. You don't have to pick, but to me it's always been Jason Tatum.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, I think it's funny.
Listen, fans, this is y'all fault. Y'all said he was a boring superstar. Y'all didn't like his style of play. Now he's giving you everything that you asked for. Pull-up jumpers, three-pointers. I'm on the rim. I'm dunking. The only thing he's missing is some trash talk. I want him to start talking trash. I want him to be sick of y'all talking shit about him. I want him to turn into Kevin Garnett. I want him to be the Boston Celtics' new Kevin Garnett and just be ridiculously entertaining. Everybody tried to make him out to be this boring superstar because he plays the right way. I don't understand it. He plays the game the right way. He's efficient. Cool, you can say he shoots too many jump shots. He's a great jump shooter. This is a jump shooting basketball team. So who else would you want shooting the basketball from the mid-range or the 3 other than a Jason Tatum or a Jaylen Brown? This revenge tour is going well, and it's entertaining. We can put all the boring superstar talk to rest. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what we're looking for. It's going to be a long season for everybody.
Yeah, it's just a weird narrative. I don't remember a team or a player like this that's been scrutinized and just negatively talked about so much other than Jason Tatum. What more does he
and be good?
Well, they call him unimpressive.
What does that mean, unimpressive? Like multiple All-Stars, championships, gold medals. Like what? Because he's not too flashy. He's not barking. He's not doing national commercials.
Well, Tim Duncan wasn't flashy, and they were called boring for
That's what I mean. If he's boring, I want to be boring.
I would love to have a boring Tim Duncan career.
That's what I'm saying. But that was a narrative as well. I don't know that you need to care, but I think the idea of sending this off onto a revenge tour for this guy is terrifying for everybody else and probably backfiring as we speak for all the Eastern
Shout out
Conference.
to Steve Kerr.
Yeah, way to go.
That just did not help. They are, by the way, the 3-pointers for the Celtics right now. They are leading the league, not shockingly, 51 3-pointers a game. Look, when they go in, it's fun, Lou, but
That's a lot.
Is that a lot?
That's a lot. It's a lot.
51 threes.
51?
It's a lot, but
Like,
this is where the game is. We allow
Holy shit.
analytics and charts to be a very pivotal key point of how we play basketball. You know, you got guys that come in and they show you all of these charts and they tell you this is the best way for us to win with the personnel that we have, and some teams follow that blueprint. For the Boston Celtics, it works. Now, it's kind of hard to watch sometimes, you know, with guys just jacking up threes. It kind of gives you that all-star game vibe. But again, this is a team that's been their identity, and it's worked for them. So it's hard to criticize it when you're looking at a team that's 3-0, that's averaging 50 3-pointers a game, and they're winning. It's hard to criticize it.
They're second best in turnovers. They're third in shooting percentage. They're third in effective field goal percentage, and they're first in offensive rating. So 51, it sounds like a lot, and it is. The game has changed, and that is a lot. But this is also a team where, as much of a jump shooting team they are, they can defend and they can switch 1 through 5. So they can definitely bog you down a 90s type game where it's 98 to 91, and the Boston Celtics can still beat you that way too. So yes, I think this is a lot. I don't think they're going to finish the season shooting 51 threes a game. That's insane. Even when I saw that number right now, I thought I was a little blown away, but they're making them right now, and this is a versatile team that can beat you in other ways. So I don't see it as a problem at all.
Do teams start picking them up at half court?
Good luck, because then they're getting to the rim. Because then they're getting to the rim, they're getting to the free throw line more.
Right, you have the personnel to change your game plan, right? So again, we're still talking about 2 of the best players in the league, and you have the role players to do it. If you start guarding the 3-point line, that's going to open up lanes for these guys to be aggressive and attack the rim. They're going to be fine no matter what. I would like to see that number get down a little bit. We all have. We've always said that we want them to be a more aggressive basketball team. They have that in their chamber, but at the end of the day, they like to be a jump shooting team. So this is on par for who they are.
It has to go down. It has to go down.
It'll go down.
Some other surprises from around the league in week 1. LaMelo Ball, quite the tear, starting this thing off 32, 7, and 7. In the East, where would you put him? Top what point guard, Chandler? Go.
Top 10. I got a little list.
In just the East?
In just the East. Well, I got a little list here. Drew, I'm going to ask you a question.
No,
I'm listening.
Who's better?
No, I'm listening.
Drew Holiday, Damian Lillard, Brunson.
Melo Ball beats Drew Holiday in the point guard conversation.
No chance.
Well, interesting moment.
Drew Holiday was a guy that Team USA had to have.
Individually.
Okay,
Drew Holiday is a consummate teammate, and he's my guy. But when we're talking about individual talents, Drew Holiday is not better than LaMelo Ball as far as what they bring.
I think.
Love this
I
argument.
think there's a category here that's top 5, and I think it's Dame, Brunson, Maxey, Halliburton, and Drew Holiday. I think they're in a different category. Then I think you get to the Cade Cunningham's, Trae Young's, Garland, and LaMelo Ball. I think they are that next kind of group of great point guards. I think he's somewhere in there. Again, he is so talented. He's taller than you think. The guy, he's like 6'7", 6'8". Is he going to average 32 points, 7 and 7? Who, maybe on this team, but again, can he translate it to wins? He's in the same category to me as a Trae Young, where it's never been about talent. It's never been.
I don't want to make this about Drew Holiday because I love Drew, but if you switch them out, who knows what position that they're in? Because that's not who naturally Drew is. Drew's not really a lead guard. He's not going to be your number one guy to go to. He's great at where he is in his career with the position. Like even in Milwaukee, he's next to Giannis. He's next to Chris Middleton. Now that he's in Boston, he's next to Tatum. He's next to Brown. He's great in that role. I don't know if you put Drew in. I don't want to make this just about Drew Holiday.
But I agree. If you put Drew Holiday on the Hornets, I don't think he's averaging that number.
31,
but I think if they take Drew Holiday off the Celtics, they're a worse basketball team.
Right. If you put LaMelo in Drew's spot on the Celtics.
I think that hurts them.
I'm talking about the individuality of being point guards, not what you bring to the table. Drew Holiday is an absolute stud and having an amazing career. I'm not downplaying that, not one bit. But what I'm saying, when you talk about individual guys, everybody else on that list is probably the best player on their team.
Yeah, I'm just saying after 3 games, I can't put him ahead of guys like Darius Garland, Trae Young, Maxey, Halliburton, Brunson. I can't do it yet. I cannot. I haven't seen that. But I do like he's wearing apparently stronger ankle braces now, so he's been out. He's missed a lot of time as well. They haven't won a game.
Everything.
So I do listen again. It's never been about production with him. He's a hell of a talent. I just don't think we've ever talked about him enough or even seen him enough because their team has been so bad. Which hopefully that changes. And again, they're 1-2. So like, what are we talking about?
1-2.
Yeah.
They've won 1.
Great. He's putting up great numbers.
And they've lost 2.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get back to that. We'll check back in about 2 weeks with the. Is that good?
It's not going to get good
when
until about 20 games.
When they're
1-6. Fine.
They're 2-5.
Yeah, we won't really know until it's about 20 games in.
I want to ask about him being a franchise player, but I think the franchise that we're talking about matters as well, because there are levels to being a, quote, franchise player, right?
He's a franchise player for the Charlotte Hornets.
For this team.
He's going to get paid $250 million for the Charlotte Hornets. Like, yes, he is their guy going forward. I don't know how good they could do in free agency. I don't know. They haven't done well in the draft. So, like, yes, he is their franchise player, and he is talented enough to do that. Now, can they add real pieces around them to contend? Not this year.
What about his dad wanting him on the Clippers so badly?
You know, you haven't heard a lot about his dad lately. Where's that guy been?
That's probably best, though.
Well, 2 out of 3 all 3 of them had an opportunity to play. I think his job is done. He can chill.
Yeah,
Well, no, not if it comes to this part where he's like.
All 3 of them made it to the league. He can chill.
But if you want. All 3 of them.
Well, yeah, Jello had an opportunity as well.
Opportunity.
That counts. That counts.
Well, I mean, I just want to make sure I know what we're talking about. But this.
Stop, man.
But
That
now,
counts.
does
That
Dad
counts.
go, hey, stay here for all that, or no, you come to the Clippers for a bit of a cut?
Now listen, you put him on like the Clippers, you put him in a big market right now, I think we're talking about a whole different player just based on his opportunity, the TV time this guy's going to get. The average person doesn't know who LaMelo Ball is because the Charlotte Hornets they're historically bad. They are bad, so you have to be on a good team. Yeah, like he's going to put up numbers on this team, but to me that's not that impressive.
Why are you laughing?
I'm not rolling, Chandler. I think people know who LaMelo Ball is. Can the Charlotte Hornets collectively be a better team? Absolutely, but I think as a brand, I think people know LaMelo Ball. And I think he's top 5 or 6 in the Eastern Conference when it comes to point guard.
You don't think that?
We're going to see. 20 games in, we'll see.
I feel like, Lou, you're talking about a point guard as if it's its own person in like a little case versus the point guard and how they play
You want
with the rest
LaMelo
of
Ball
the
over
team.
Cade Cunningham? I can't. I'd rather have Cade Cunningham.
I like that one.
That one's tough, right?
No, I like that one.
Like
I agree with you there. I take that. But again, I'm looking at 31-7-7. The only things that's ever stopped us from talking about a lot of these guys are injuries. If he's healthy, he's right there in the mix with these guys.
Yeah.
And he's showing that. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, it's a great start. Again, those numbers.
Check back in 2 months.
Yeah, those numbers are insane.
All-Star break.
I just don't know if I think the stats go down. I think the wins stay down.
All right,
You know what I mean?
that's
So
it.
it's like
I wrote to myself. I
3
made a
games.
note. Check back in.
Yeah,
The Hornets.
got that?
Yeah. We got a promo. It's kind of like the perfect storm tonight. All of the sports are happening. It's the Equinox on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Game 3 of the World Series, Yankees-Dodgers. Giants and Steelers. NBA, NHL, all having regular season games. To celebrate that, FanDuel's going to give everyone a 30% profit boost. Boost your winnings when you place a parlay on any of tonight's sports Equinox action. Make every moment more with FanDuel. It's the perfect storm. Oh my God, you know who's on the show tomorrow?
Who?
Friend of the show and guy we all loved, Gigi Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Back tomorrow. Oh, yeah.
We're fans of